Um, we thank God for yet another opportunity to hear from God's word. Like I always say, there is hardly anything we listen to here that we have not heard before. But when you read the passage of the Bible, every time you read it, it gives you a new meaning and additional understanding. So this morning, once again, we are going to admonish ourselves from the scriptures. Our topic this morning is simply titled Imprisoned by Emotions. Imprisoned by Emotions. Our text is taken from the book of Ephesians chapter 4, 31 and 32. You can see the man on the screen. The guy has chains, right? He's putting on chains, which signify that he's confined, right? Because we are looking at a different kind of prison. We do not have the bars that shows that it's inside a physical cell. I know that Brother Anuge has said this morning that it's not be my head, not be our head, but to a very large extent it actually depends on us. We'll quickly look at some definitions. Right? This photo here is a summary of our topic. Right? Are you in some form of burden that you might have, contributed to or caused by yourself? Right? Is your mind worried? Right? Which is why the man is holding his head. Lots of the times when we want to demonstrate our mind, we say, I didn't touch me for mine. We usually hold our chest, right? But where is our mind located? Where does our mind function from? From the head. And that is why that man is holding his head. Now, if you look at those definitions, we have imprisoned, and very quickly it means a state or condition of confinement or captivity. And depending on the type of prison, it can be one where people are tormented or tortured. So at times, you hear that a person is sentenced to imprisonment with hard labor. He's already in prison, but there's an extra. So they make him do some hard work because of the severe nature of his offense or crime. And then the other one there is emotions. And we have defined it this morning as a strong feeling deriving from one's circumstances, mood, or relationship with others. We will get to understand better as we progress. To x-ray our topic this morning, we will look at one very short story. It's popular. You have it in novels, in books, and you have it in movies. Right? It's the work of one very prominent writer in the 18th century. His name is Alexander Dumas. He wrote a book known as The Count of Monte Cristo. Some of us have seen the movie, some of us have read the book. But the summary here, what we want to take from that story is this. It centers around a man called Edmond Dante. That was the actor, the way we call it. And this was somebody who he was doing well, his life was moving up in a positive trajectory. And then, as usually have life, his friends became jealous of him. He was about to marry. I think in that book is the name of the girl, the fiancé was Mercedes. He was about to marry soon. He was happy. Life was progressing well. And all of a sudden, out of jealousy and envy, his friends framed him up. Right? They laid false allegations against him, and he wasn't able to defend himself. At the end of the day, he was convicted of the accusation and then sent to prison for something he did not do. Now, this is where we are going. While he was in prison, he vowed to retaliate, to revenge. So His day and night in prison was spent on planning how to pay back those who put him in that prison. Right? He was already in prison. And you now have a situation whereby all he thinks about is to plot, program, and how he was going to retaliate and make sure these people suffer. So he was in prison, and then he got out of prison. The rest of his life was, the major part of his life was dedicated to paying back everybody. If you read the story, you realize so many difficult things that he had to do, take out time to do, just because he wanted to do what? To revenge. Right? And what could have led, what would we say led Dante to do this thing that he did? His emotions, the taste and quest for revenge, wanting to pay back. Right? Those are the things, some of the things that our text is going to read out this morning. So let's quickly go to our text, Ephesians chapter 4, verse 31 and 32. Some of these negative emotions are rendered there. Who is reading for us?
Ephesians 4:31 reads, "Let all bitterness, wrath, anger, clamor, and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice, and be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as God in Christ forgave you."
Yes. This is one part of the Bible that did not apply to Edmund Johnson. Right? His bitterness stayed. His wrath stayed. His anger stayed. Right? He was unforgiving, and so his life was dedicated to what? To revenge. Now, a lot of the times, most of the negative emotions like the bitterness, the rage, jealousy, sadness, include depression, that we have become slaves to, that we have become captives to, right? Allow them to build up inside us, all have a common root, which is lack of forgiveness. You give this to me, I will. You give this to me, I will pay back. Even when you forgive with your lips, even when they say forgive and forget, even say, don't worry, go, I forgive and forgetting. Some of these things are they still have their sediments in our hearts and in our minds. There are a lot of stories in the Bible that talk about forgiveness, but one that always interests me and rather that stands out is the story of the unforgiving servant. That as we have in Matthew chapter 18, from 21 to 35. We all know the story. A man who worked for a particular master owed the master a whole lot that it was impossible for him to pay. Right? And then the master says, "Come, my staff, my servant, I want you to pay me my money. I need my money." And he says, "Brother, I do not have the money yet. Give me some time to pay." The master said, "No, I will throw you in jail along with your wife and your child until you are able to pay me that money." And the servant begged for that. The master looked at it and said, "Okay, you know what? It's fine. I'll let you go. I'll forgive. You're asking me for time to enable you to pay. Don't worry, I'll not just give you time. I will forgive your debts." But what happened when that man was going home? On his way home, he saw somebody who was in the same status with him, the fellow servant who owed him, and said, "You, I don't catch it today, right? You will pay me my money today." And held the man's clock, asking him to pay. Now, those who saw it were not happy. And the man that was just forgiven like a while back. So they went back to the master and said, "Master, see what the man just forgave. See what he's doing." And the master was angry. Let's go to that passage, Matthew chapter 18, verse 21. Read 34 for us.
34. And his master was angry, delivered him to the torturers until he should pay all that was due to him.
All right. The master was angry and did what? Delivered him to the torturers. He was sent back to the prison until he could pay everything that he owed. Now, the man was free man working, opportunity to hustle and make money. He did not work, he could not pay. Is it now that he has been thrown in prison that will be able to pay? So it means that the man will never be able to pay that money and is probably going to remain in prison for the rest of his life. And 35 says, read 35.
So my heavenly Father also will do to you, if each of you from his heart does not forgive his brother his trespasses.
All right. Now, if we ask ourselves, what sends that man to prison? Because his debt had been forgiven. He was allowed to go. But on his way home, he did something. And that was why he went back to prison. He did not go back to prison because of the money that he was owed. He went back to prison because he obviously refused to forgive what? His brother. Now, I'll take our mind somewhere. We talked about it, Edmond Johnson. Let us talk about a very prominent man somewhere here in Africa, South Africa. His name remains Nelson Mandela, who had a lot of stories to tell, a lot of admonition to give us as far as forgiveness is concerned. On a particular day, he took some of his staff, his orderlies and his peers and the rest, of course with military security, and wanted to go have lunch somewhere, right? So he rode. While he got there, he sat down and made his order. Food was being prepared or whatever it is he was having. Then while seated, he saw somebody. He said, I recognize that person. He sent his staff. Go and call that man, tell him to come and sit down with us, which is ordinarily supposed to be a privilege, right? Because at this time he was president of South Africa. But the man came and sat down with them. While sitting, he ate with difficulty, uneasiness, could not face Mandela in the eyes, and then hurriedly ate his food and what? He left. Took Mandela and then left. So while he left, the man, the staff rather asked the president, why that man must have some very serious health issues. Did you notice that his hand was shaking all the while he was eating? He wasn't stable. And Mandela said, no, he doesn't have medical issues. He is afraid that I will do to him what he did to me. What did he do to him? He said, while I was in prison, that was one of the jail officers who attended to me. That man beat me, urinated on me. There's nothing he did not do, right? But a particular instance, after beating me, that he did was he asked for water. And instead of giving him water, just like he gave Christ vinegar, he said, don't say we all these soldiers, don't say we're wicked. Rather than give the man water like he requested for, what did he do? He urinated on the man. And now, this is the same man who is sitting opposite to you, now a president, and you are eating with him, right? So, of course, the man was afraid. And then, Mandela left a statement. He says, minds that seek revenge destroy states, while those that seek reconciliation build nations. After that, he went on to say this. He says, now, because we're talking about freeing yourself from bondage, from prison, right? That's mental and emotional captivity that you have kept yourself in, right? Mandela then had this to say. He said, as I stepped out the door to start a new chapter in my life, right, I realized that in order to truly embrace my freedom, I needed to let go of all the anger, hatred, and resentment that weighed me down, right? I knew that holding on to those negative emotions would only keep me what? In prison. Nelson Mandela did not need to be a member of the Lost Church for him to render this statement and set himself free. So at times, holding on to these things is like drinking poison and expecting the next person to be affected by it. There are some of these emotions that you cannot probably directly tie to unforgiveness or a wrong that somebody has done. Because my people, we have a parable in my mind, they say, you don't know anything when to beat you for. You wake up in the morning, you beat out, say why you beat. You wake up in the morning, you walk out your own, say you're not going to beat. Right? So whatever you do, you might just be unlucky. Right? We have things like that. So some people are anxious, some people are out of their anxiety, they deal with you. Some people are jealous of you, you don't even know their names. You have fear, some people are covetous, right? And then it happens everywhere, and it has been there even from the Bible age. Now let's look at some of these examples. The question will be, What did Abel do to Cain for Cain to kill Abel? Nothing. Abel just obeyed God, the sacrifice was accepted, and Cain said, why will you not sacrifice the one man is rejected? And then he did what? He killed him. Uriah was away at the battlefront when David spotted his wife on the rooftop. It was not only okay, right, that he coveted his wife, right? When the fruit of his labor yielded, or when his labor yielded fruit and the child was going to be born, what did he do? He went further to, in a series of kings, he tried to do what? He killed the man, who we are told was a very beautiful soldier as far as the army of that time was concerned. Another question will be, what did Joseph do, right, for his brothers to sell him? Joseph was the child of the last one, who of course was giving birth to us, the man's Jacob's older age. And so he, usually liked him because he was young. And then the man was on his own when God was putting dreams in his head. And he had to tell the family, see that the things when I dream of in love. And then he became an enemy. Sold into slavery. Right? David was on his own when he decided to try and help to destroy the Philistines. That's Goliath. Right? That's all he did. And then he entered into trouble. If you read 1 Samuel chapter 18, 6 to 8. He was the praises there because they just praise him. So when people are praising you, you have to be very, very careful. Not go there and say they're going to do like this. And the woman said, that picture says the woman said, David killed in what? Thousands. Right? No, Saul killed in what? Thousands. Why David killed in what? 10,000. Automatically that was not made an enemy of the king. Right? Sometimes certain things are very connected. How does envy, unhealthy competition, how does it affect us when we pray? Right? God is God. Because He is God, He knows our heart, He sees everything. He knows your intent. He knows what you are not saying. Right? So that when you are praying for that thing and the intent in your heart is because of the envy you have for what your brother or your sister has, say, God, give me this thing. Right? God hears that your unspoken voice where you are trying to say, give me the one say, you won't better pass my brother. Because He is God. You don't have to express it before He knows that is where you are going. Right? I'm a spinster, I'm a young girl, I'm praying for a husband, I'm praying for a man. And then inside my heart, what I'm thinking is me that have a DS. See the kind of husband that Clara has. Clara that is not really rich and has. God, I know that the one that will give me better than the one that will give her. There is already a negative emotion which will let that prayer not come to pass. Have you not imprisoned yourself? Those are some of the things that we do that have kept us where we are. I remember back in the days, you don't see much of those things now because Christianity has taken a fresh new tone. When you are going, you see Okada. Those things are usually on Okada, all those old 504. You see all those stickers. Right? Somebody is hustling. Inside your hustle, when you are praying for God to help you, bless you. The sticker you have on your vehicle is, God, let my enemy live long, so that they will see what I will be in future. Which future? Right? That prayer is then on what? On arrival. Because it is centered on when it happens, I'll not come and show. So people say I don't, right? And then years later, when you see that same place, they have removed that one, you now see another one. God's sign is the best. Because you don't wait for that picture, the picture not really come. Right? So now, which of these emotional bodies or conditions does not constitute an offense in the sight of God? They all do. Right? They are harmful to our spiritual life as well as harmful to our physical life. So if that is the case, why don't we drop them? Why do we keep allowing ourselves to be imprisoned by these things? Right? Emotional captivity and physical health. You see that tension you have in your mind When you see somebody who you have a quarrel with, right, you have to just, if you have ever forgiven somebody before, you will know the relief. If there's somebody you are not talking to, when you have to follow them, just in some you dodge and pass them. The day you settle the quarrel, we don't begin to talk. You will know there's, me said, don't try to be quarrel with yourself. Get away my mind. There's a relief. You are healthier, right? There's a machine called the polygraph, right? That's people like to give things first name. It's called the polygraph, but actually it is a lie detector, right? You say you're not the one that did it. You were not at City Republic yesterday. Okay, let's put you on the polygraph. This machine has no brain, so you cannot say, oh, you are intelligent machine. You know what it does? It monitors your emotions, your psychological reactions to certain questions. The way your heart moves when you lie depends on the way it moves when you tell the truth. So when they place it on you and they say, were you at City Republic yesterday? Your system will process the lie. If it is true, it simply says the machine is balanced. But if you process the lie, your blood pressure will what? To go up. Your pulse will go up. Your sweat glands will open up. There's a reaction and they tell you you are lying. And you see how this machine says they know. It monitors your emotional imbalance. When you lie, when you are anxious, when you are coveting evil, when jealousy has taken over you, the same reaction your system releases is the same reaction it releases when lying, covetousness, envy, I'm angry, I'm upset, and everything, they have the same reaction in our system. What did we just say goes up? Your blood pressure. Right? And what is the most physical, what is the quickest physical reaction when our blood pressure is high? It's your headache. Same, I don't get headache. Ask yourself why. Unconsciously, that's when you not like no one else. Because you have it bottled up here, right? You begin to have challenge. So the question is, why are we doing for not increase? This is problem, school fees, house rent, not enough fuel. Are those not enough? So you want to add the ones that you can actually do without. Right? So we are admonished to let these things go that have easily imprisoned us. What is our remedy? Our remedy is Christ. These things are plenty. It happens everywhere. Right? Now, saying that these negative physical, spiritual, psychological consequences are there and they do not exactly resolve the problem, what should we do with our numerous bodies? What do you want to try them? What are these bodies? Let's name a few. These are things that you are just sad. You don't know why. I think you think, okay, because of all that brother told me yesterday, I'm still angry. Drop it. Right? There are some back then you say some children when you beat them in the morning, their mother goes to the market or work, they'll cry after they forget sleep, they'll forget when they are playing. You just hear, mommy, you just start the cry again. Start the cry in the evening. Who beat you? Say, I forgot. But you were crying, not remember. Some of us are like that. Right? We just leave that thing deposited there in our minds. What are some of these things? He or she left you almost at the altar. Right? After you have put it all into this relation. Are you going to kill yourself? Let it go. Your business partner dupes you and has left you penniless. Is that why you want to die? Let it go. Your congregation is appreciative of your efforts over the years. Are you depressed? Let it go and be happy. My husband, people say I'm the one that killed my husband. And for the past 20 years, that is the burden that I have been refusing to forgive them. My wife, people say I'm the one that killed my wife and without to do because I became rich after she died. Some of us are in these burdens. Right? The church did not commiserate with me as I deserved when I had my predicament. And we're holding on to it. Right? I remember, I know in some of our meetings, but people say,
just to express and explain certain things, to make us understand, remind us, now just to explain to certain persons. His father died and nobody was available for this full congregation. There was nobody that because of me, if it was for our next they would have gone. They did not follow him. So rest. I used to always disturb their ears when I had a fire incident sometime in 2008, and I was not happy the way I was handled by the congregation. So every time I would say, what is body? Left me, I had just one trouser, and I kept saying it. So I got tired, and one day he told me, we don't get one trouser. So you thought I don't get enough. Do now, rest. Okay, yeah, right? Some of us, very unfortunate, we come up here after having been given the rare and blessed opportunity to come and edify the children of God. We come here first, and our introduction is negativity. The church did this, the church did not do that. I was treated like this. And in our mind, we are saying it for record purpose. Just to give a bad name to certain people. Unfortunately, I'm very thankful. Some of us who do such things have been gloriously blessed by this church. Benevolent wife, taken care of. We've got serious, beautiful attention. When we come here to say those negative things, we don't take that opportunity to also tell the congregation, this is what the church did for me. But it's so embarrassing. So for people who you have been told to come and bless, you poison their hearts, drop your message, and you leave. There are certain things you say. No matter what you say to rectify it, you have destroyed your message. Your presence here is a waste as far as people and even God is concerned. There are numerous, right? A controversy about you was not resolved properly at work, in church, in the office, and you are holding on to it. You are down in your heart and mind, right? Your business is not growing as you projected. And those things are there. There are things that will keep happening in life. Everybody gets the one way they suffer. They say people wear shoes knows where it pinches. But as much as you can, drop some of these things and free yourself from that emotional bondage that you have put yourself in. Your mind, your heart is in chains and you do not know it. As human beings, God understands that, we can be angry, right? It's allowed. You can express yourself, but there's a way God also expects us to say, but what you say, be angry, but do not let the sun go down on your anger. If you resort to permanent depression, you are permanently now sad. Is that a solution? No. You worsen your case. You are complaining about the problem and you are now compounding it. Why not follow God's words and let your heart be free? Right? I know you have been hurt. I know you have been deprived. A lot of things have been taken away from you. Some of us don't come to worship because, those people did me like this. The particular set did me like this. Some of us have boycotted our house fellowship because of one right or one entitlement that we think we should have. You give somebody a topic, house fellowship, he comes there and talks about himself. Right? Sending you signals and messages. Right? Not edifying anybody.